Hey, this is Shantae with Brown Sugar Talks coming to you on this Thinking Thursday. So, Thinking Thursday. What has made me think recently? Like, what has, put me in this place of or position to think? Because I actually got to this point where I was like, I was at a museum. And the person was like, what is the first thing you see in the picture? And it's the first time I've been asked that in a long time. You know, like, what catches your eye and why? Why does it do that? Because so many times I think people, forget to be like, well, I thought about this because, this is what I saw. And sometimes we don't even take the time to listen. And I've been made fun of so much for having that point of view. Like, I've always been able to relate other things to something else, which is a comparison, or sometimes one thing makes me think of the other. So with that, I don't know, I used to always want to know what made somebody else think of something else, such as, yesterday the other day when I thought Obama, Kendi Wiley. And so that was something what made me think was that, okay, somebody wanted to listen. But not only that, it just happens. It just makes me, I go through a total process of everything. And I've been doing it for a long time, since I was younger. Somebody looked in my face and was like, you think too much. And I was like, really? How does she know? And it was because at that point I was I couldn't actually voice anything because I would be seen as all these things. I was ridiculed for thinking and reading and wanting to do more and things like that. So it was amazing for somebody to come and say, "This is for." Hey, you know what? You think too much. And from then on, I just love this woman. I just absolutely was enthralled by her because, and she didn't know, I would try to sit a little closer to her at church, or I would try to walk past her or try to get her attention again, just little things. Just I don't know, when they say it takes a village to raise a child, that's what I really mean. It's when you put that little spark in somebody and they're just like, oh my God, you must be wonderful, you must be something great is about you. And so that brings me back to this point of just, I think I would think that knowing your individual basis of where you are and where you came from will help you open up to some idea of something great, so I did one full YouTube post about why I left the natural hair community, which it was not all natural hair community. So I don't want anybody upset about that, saying, oh, this is all natural hair communities and this was all Black Consciousness Committee. No, I left because it was a situation where if you have been individualized, and I've been I've been set out as an individual by both communities before, and it wasn't because of anything strange. It was just the fact that I'm in these communities and I'm seeing you tear up other people. I see you talking about women in a bad way, and you're in a natural hair community, putting people down and making them feel like what they're doing is too much or not enough, or being natural is something that has to be this certain way, or you just can't be a part of the group, or black guys. I was cool, until he was well, this guy, he's I'm a Christian, I was a Christian, I was really bad, I was really good into the community and stuff, and then the girl's family put me out and this, that, and the other. And so then he wanted to expose all Christians because he was actually mad at the girl's family. He didn't know that his inner thing was he was mad at the girl's family. He wasn't really Black conscious. He was mad at the girl's family. Like, and also I've been through all these things too. I went through all this stuff younger, like in college, like where I'm thinking, where, I was still trying to find my way, and it'd be like, okay, when I did something, I did it to the extreme, but not to the extreme of like having to put other people down. And so that was my whole thing. It's like, you came back, like, I'm not, oh my God. So he was like, why did I don't even think that he had said it. It's just like, I didn't want to talk to him anymore because I was like, you just did what? Like, he exposed this person for wearing dresses. Like, look at him wearing a dress. And the dude was like dressed like an Egyptian. Like, blacker than black. He dressed like an Egyptian, and you telling me that he's not doing the right thing? Like, he's not, that he's like, I'm exposing him for wearing this, and he looked like a typical Egyptian. And I don't know, sometimes I think, is this a joke? Like, I cannot believe this stuff, because it has to be a joke. Like, this is not how you have formed your life. Like, even with the natural hair situation, I was like, whoa, like, this is not true. Like, you cannot keep comparing black women. Like, how would you rather wear your hair? Who did it best and all that stuff. That's not something we need to be doing. Like, it's almost like, respect that individual, because the world is already going to be like, oh, you have straight hair and Donna has curly hair, and and oh my God, I think I want you at my party and not Donna. And it's like so many different ways that the world already like compares us and tells us that we different and tells us that we can't help each other and tells us all these different things, and you just like, no, don't do that again. So that's why I even left the vegan pages, because some of them be like, well, you, unless you've been done this, that, and the other, then you're not classified as this. And it's just like how people got upset with Raven Simone, but I think maybe it came from one of my videos, because it was like I was teaching a class about like how two races, how they think they make up this system, where it's like, if you born in America, you're Black American. If you're born in Africa, you have an American parent, it's African American. And it just be like, okay, well, it's the same thing, but it's not, because it's like, if you are African American and you born in America, you might as well just call yourself American, because you're going to be part of the American culture, unless you go back to Africa. So that's my whole thing. It's like, just joining and going through these processes or whatever. And I don't mind sharing that thinking, because I think it's like, it's important for you to know that you cannot ostracize people and put them out and just be mad because they didn't go to the extreme with you. Like, some things don't need that extreme. Why would my extreme be centered into hate? Why would my group activity, why would my hair center me to hate you? Or to like hate on you? Like, no, that's not, no. You know what you're doing with your hair, it's just, you're not natural. So get out of the group. No, that's not, because you are Christian. It's like, okay, I mean, you gonna still have family that's Christians. That's what they believe. That's what keeps them centered. That's what keeps them moving and going on. And if you take that away from them, then what do you want them to do? Who do you want them to be? And that's the thing. Who do you want them to be? Because that's something where now you want to control what they think and how they flow. Everybody is going to learn at a different place, at a different pace, at a different time. Everybody's not going to learn it the same way. Even me, I still learn. I still learn. I learn all the time. And it's like, that's my thing. It's like, you can't, I'm forever changing. And so that's the whole part of everything. It's like, you have to stop and think about those things. Being a vegetarian, a vegan, I just make fun of vegan, vegetarian, and I do it because it's like, I don't, I'm not trying to be absolute in it. I don't want to wake up every day and that's all I think about is my food, because I do, but I think I want good food. Like, I wake up and I'm like, I want some good food. Like, something good, not something that burns my tongue, not anything that's too salty, nothing that's too sweet. It's like, you just wake up and you want good ass food, because you've had bad food before. That's why now it's so important that you get good food. And when you get bad food, you're like, okay, yeah, we can do better. So that's what you want. You want that consistency of good things happening, and you have to X those things out your life when people are doing that. I hate those comparison things, like who wore it best. they both wore it. You know, and then the thing is, they're not even to be compared, because one model could be thin, the other one could be thick. You know, let me do it in a comparison of problems. Both models could have eating disorders. How about that? You know, because when you change the situation, then people stop. Yes.
Can I please buy on Roblox to like be a ninja?
No, I think you are. Yeah, I think you spent a lot, because I don't have as much money.
No, I didn't.
I gotta check the account. But yeah, no, you can't buy anything right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's all. It's like you just have to start to look at it and be like, okay, yeah, you know, do I have to criticize this person in order to get my agenda across? And you don't. You don't have to criticize anybody. You don't have to criticize people. You know, it's not a thing of criticism or a thing of comparison. It's not. It's a thing of my path and how happy I am that you two have chosen to go your way. You know, and you don't want people defending themselves either. Like, when people on their path, why do I have to defend myself to you? Like, why is it always like, you know, all these things that try to like, where you try to make me feel like I have to defend myself. Yes.
So where's the tissues?
Inside the cabinet. But yeah, it's like, you shouldn't have to defend yourself as far as like what that is and how it goes and how you are and everything you do is okay. Like, it is okay. You don't have to go through any of that process. You don't. You will stay the beautiful human that you are. You know, like, that's what it is to think. To think is not to, like, quickly react to the situation, which sometimes I do too. I do that with passion. You know, I do that with every fiber of my being, because I love being black. I really do. Like, when I say that I grew up in the black community, I'm so fucking proud, because at one point that community to me was beautiful. To me, that community was like a flower. You know, it was like this wonderful place that I just did not want to change, and it changed. You know, and that's where my devastation and distraught comes from, because it did change. It changed. And it changed drastically. And it's like, oh my gosh. And we had to move away from that. We had to move to a new place that wasn't so welcoming when we got there. You know, so that's our thing. It's like, I had, like, you know, when you have me against the world, I know that's what Tupac give you, whatever. It's Tupac. I haven't listened to Tupac in a long time. Maybe I got to, but it's almost like you just, it is. It was me against the world. And maybe it still is, or me against me in the world that somebody else wanted to create for me, because they thought this is what I was talking. I'm not talking about talking to myself. The thing is that I wanted my friends. I told my friends, I was like, you know what? When I get back, if I feel like I'm lost or whatever, make sure you tell me. Make sure you tell me how to, you know, refer me to myself, because I know what to do, right? Now I got people talking to me in old conversations and shit like that. You know, just all kind of stupid shit. And it's like, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, when I get caught up and I feel like I can't make it no more, and I can't do this no more, and I can't go on, then let me give myself a pep talk. Let me get myself back to where I need to be. But I am back to where I need to be. So why are people still talking to me in my own vernacular? I don't get that. I don't get how that translated to this, you know. But either way, okay, whatever. So I just some days it's too much for me, and then some days I'm just like, okay, this is my life. Like, I don't even, because I won't be able to catch on in the end anyway. Like, it's just like I still don't get it. You know, what is the joke? You know, where does this go? Where does it lead me? And that's it. But back to what I'm saying is just, you have to stop and be like, hey, you know what? This is me, and this is what I believe, and what I believe is okay, and what you believe is okay, because it is. It's okay, especially if it's not hurting anybody, especially if what you believe doesn't lead you to want to harm other people, you know, Because what some people believe